Did you say that the market could be the ones that set the rate in the future rather than the Fed being the one artificially setting these rates? Did I understand you correctly? Tell us about that.
The Fed will be a participant. The Fed will be a huge participant and perhaps the most important. But yes, I'm saying to you that central banks do have a lot of power, but at times in history, the market has taken it away. Central banks around the world try to fix currency prices. You know, they say that the pound sterling is worth this, the euro is worth this, the yen is worth this. But sometimes the market will say, because central banks, again, try to fix prices. They try to protect their jobs and they try to protect the politicians. But there always has come a time when the market says, no, no, no. That is not what the euro is worth. The euro is worth this or whatever it is. And then they take control away from the central banks. I have learned that if you bet against the central banks, especially when they're absurd, you're probably going to make money. And the same happens with interest rates. I know, listen, don't think I don't know that central banks are gigantically important and powerful. But I also know that the market has more money than the Federal Reserve. You know, there is a theory around called MMT, more money today, and that means, oh, this will never be a problem again. I hope so. I hope so. But for a few hundred years, 1,000 years, we've always had problems periodically. I suspect we will have them again. And MMT may come along and they may print staggering amounts of money, but in the end, that's going to make it worse. That's going to make the value of money go down a lot.
What's wrong with more money today? Why not just pave over the world with money? Won't it solve all of our problems?
That's what they say, and it's wonderful. People always come up with theories when things are bad. There was a guy named Marx who came up with a beautiful theory. It sounded wonderful, and a lot of people tried it when things got bad. I mean, nobody wants to be a Marxist anymore because we know it doesn't really work, and people are going to try MMT when things get bad, and it will look okay for a while. Just keep printing, and everybody will say, free money. This is wonderful. This is good news. But and maybe it is different this time. Most things, always, when you have too much of it, the value goes down. And that with money.
Tell us more about MMT, or what's the premise there?
The premise is that you don't really have to worry about balancing the budget by selling bonds or raising taxes. The premise is that if you need more money, that you print money. And as long as you do it without abandon, you know, with some kind of sense of responsibility, everything will be fine. You don't have to raise a lot of debt. You just print what you need. I mean, it's magic. It's magic. It's magic, Keith. Everybody's going to love. Everybody that hears it now does love it. But reality will have to set in someday. At least reality always has set in the past.
Get what your thoughts are on cryptocurrency. One way people like to hedge against inflation is increasingly with a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, where there is a finite supply of 21 million Bitcoins. What are your thoughts? And is cryptocurrency like Bitcoin a legitimate way to hedge oneself against inflation?
Well, first of all money is going to be on the computer, Keith. There's no question. It already is in China. You can't take a taxi in China with money. You have to have your money on your computer. It just doesn't work otherwise. We've had hundreds of cryptocurrencies already disappear and go to zero. More will go to zero too. We have thousands of them now. Maybe they're all going to work. It usually doesn't work. The world usually doesn't work that way. So money is going to be on the computer, but in my view, it's going to be government money. When the U.S. money is on the phone, on the computer, I don't think the U.S. is going to say, okay, this is money now. But if you want to use their money, you can use their money. That's not the way governments think, or politicians, bureaucrats don't like to lose control. They like to keep their monopoly. And I suspect that will happen again. So if these currencies, any other, become viable as currency, I suspect the governments will step in. They always have. We'll see. But I want to say, if you're good at trading, and these are nothing wrong with these as trading vehicles right now, and if you're good at trading, do it. But if you think you're going to have the new US dollar, I suspect you're not. There will be a new US dollar on the computer, but it's going to be theirs. I would love for there to be alternatives, but that's not the way governments think.
Can cryptocurrency be shut down? Is that realistic?
Well, the crypto people say it's not realistic, that they can outsmart the government. They also said it was anonymous, but as you know, they have found that there was a big heist recently where they closed a pipeline. They demanded money from a pipeline. They got it. They were paid in cryptos. Well, the government tracked them down and has gotten it back now. So the idea that everything is anonymous and can be shielded from the government is being proven wrong more and more every day. So it can happen that the government can do a lot of things. I mean, I don't particularly like this at all, not at all, Keith, but governments do have that power. Can they shut it down? If they make it illegal, most people, and me and others, will not use it anymore. And also, I want to go back, recently in Myanmar, for instance, they just closed the internet. Well, without the internet, you don't have cryptocurrency. Recently in Texas, there was a gigantic storm, and for 4 or 5 days, there was no electricity. But without electricity, you don't have cryptocurrency. You can go down to the shop and say, look, my money is on my computer, but my computer is inaccessible. This guy's going to say, I know you need bread, and I would love to give you some bread and wheat, and everything, and some beans. But you got to give me money. I'm sorry your computer's down. I'm sorry electricity's down, etc. So the government can do all sorts of things, whether we like it or not. And I don't like it, but facts are facts.
What do you think that a young person should know today, whether that has to do with investing or personal development or anything else, maybe something that young person's not thinking about? What should they be thinking about or investing their time in?
Everybody should invest their time now, especially in knowing about the world, preferably a second language, because in the world in our lifetimes, in your lifetime especially, is going to be much, much different. I grew up in the United States where nobody cared if you didn't speak English. But in the next 50 years, next 100 years, it's going to be important to know a second language well, and it's going to be very important to know about the world. Most people, when I was a kid, didn't know where China was, didn't care. Didn't need to know, but that's 50 years ago. That's 80 years ago. That's 100 years ago. That world is gone. So I would suspect everybody, I urge everybody to learn about the world as much as you can. I recently ran into a woman from China, who didn't know that Beijing was the capital of China. So there's a lot of ignorance out there. And if you don't know about the world in the next 50 years, you're not going to have an advantage. You're certainly going to be at a disadvantage. So I would learn as much as you can about the world outside of your own country. I would learn about possibly living outside your own country. And I would certainly try to learn another language if you can. Difficult times are coming. You need to get knowledge. And once you get knowledge, you'll get worried. And once you get worried, you'll do something. You'll start being prepared. And the people who are ready will come through difficult times in sparkling colors. Many people got rich in the Depression in the 30s. Most didn't. Most lost a lot. But if you know what you're doing and you're prepared, you will come through the next very bad times with flying colors, and you'll be rich. So get ready. Do your homework.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
What to do in such a situation? Inform yourself and keep your financial education strong. We from the Compact Group offer our loyal subscribers a free educational portal with first-hand monetary, financial, and economic knowledge. Enter our invite-only Insider Club by clicking the link below. You will get access to first-class information far earlier than the rest. We have prepared a special deal for all our members where you can access a giant pool of Robert Kiyosaki's financial wisdom for just $1. To find out more, simply click the link below and join our Insider Club absolutely free. But there is more you can and should do. Build up several streams of income. More and more people realize that they have to take their future in their own hands, but they don't know how and where to start. We from Compact offer our Insider Club members unique opportunities. Strengthen your financial muscle and get the edge. Click the link below. Become part of our free Insider Club. No financial obligations. But there's one important thing you have to know. You have to become active. So do it now. Become active and see you on the other side.